stool, crack a beer, listen close, because the shop is open. The stories are about to roll. Somewhere deep inside of smoke filled ground, where the coffee's black, the steel is hot, the wind splitters still have soul. This is the handlebar life, where chrome doesn't matter, but horsepower does, where riders, builders, and road-worn philosophers gather to talk iron, freedom, and the machines that keep our blood moving. So grab a stool, crack a beer, and listen close, because the shop is open and the stories are about to roll. Well, hello, everybody. I see we have some early arrivals, and I thank you so much. Looks like we have Jeshua, Slim Prim, Glassman 23, and God Soldier 1129. Okay, are you still having volume problems? Somebody hit me back real quick, and we'll see what we can do to fix that. Let me see. Let me grab one thing right here now. All right. So, okay, can you hear me now? No issues now? Okay. Maybe it was just the music then. Let's see. Okay. So onward to the show. Oh, okay. Sure, we'll do that. Onward to the show. Glad everybody's here. Sorry about that audio issue. We'll make sure. Mortimer, all right, we got to get that fixed for next week. Okay, buddy? We got an awful lot to go over. And let's see. Well, as always, I am your humble handlebar Sherpa, the Grumpy Viking, joined in studio by my virtual producer, Mortimer. And like I said, we've got a lot to go over today. Mortimer has just set me down a couple of things. So as soon as they pop up, then we will get those rolling your way. We're looking a little slow here, Mortimer. Hopefully there's no issues. Okay. First on. Really? Okay. First on the docket is we're going to take a look at some of the events and happenings around the country.
Woke up, man, boots on, crowd. Coffee clear, but I'm still proud. Mirror says I look insane, but this beard runs through my veins. Chains start shaking, speakers cry. Even my whiskers wanna fly. Do the grumpy beat dance, off your boots, no second chance. Shake that face like you don't care. Let the rhythm hit your head. Do the grumpy beat dance, need luck, but you still advance. Grumpy soul, but your body's free. Come on now, dance to me. Bandana tight, shades too black, pointing fingers, biking back, skull on chrome, engine screams, beer got moves you've never seen. Fire no whiskers, heat in the floor, beer got rhythm you can't ignore. Beard left, beard right, it don't quit, it fights all night. Do that grumpy beat dance, do it loud, do it fast. Only beat will lead the way. Dance the Scalloway today. Grumpy beat, grumpy beat.
Oh, y'all caught me. Yeah, I'm doing my spy thing. Yeah. If I were a spy, I'd be 009. Just saying. But anyway, hopefully some of those events are near you or near somewhere you're going to be this year. We're going to keep posting them every show. Hope you enjoy those. And remember, it's part of the Handlebar 555 challenge, 5 events this year. So please get out, have some fun, and do a minimum of 5. Slim, you got me, buddy. That was just for you. Well, it's for all of you. Well, thank you. Yeah, 009 here. But yeah, get out there and enjoy some events, local bike nights, just riding with friends. Oh, thank you. All right, so more to get to. Let's see. Last night, we're going to try to keep this rolling so we can fit it within an hour. I know you all got important things to do, so I thank you all so much for spending some time with your humble handlebar Sherpa here. If there's any questions that you have for me or Mortimer here, please feel free to hit us up. It is live chat. So thank you so much, Queen Creek. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here, Mortimer. Oh, we got a lot of good feedback this week on the movie reviews. I hope all you out there kind of dug them. So we're going to try and keep that being a regular thing. Also, the readers' rides. Let's see. Movie reviews. There we go. All right. And again, if there's ever anything you want to see on here that we're not doing or any way we can improve, please let us know because it's all about you. Last thing. Last week, for all of you regulars that are on here tonight that I see are engaging with us, we offered some free swag. That's coffee mugs and or rocks glasses. We'll gladly send them to you. All we need is for you to send us your shipping information, and no problem. Glassman23, no problem. There's no rush. There's no rush. It takes our provider a week or two to get them to you. But yeah, you send me that information. grumpyviking47@gmail.com. grumpyviking47@gmail.com. And yeah, we'll make sure that you all get some of that swag. No problem. All free. You don't have to pay for shipping. No, nothing. So, all right. Movie reviews. That seemed to be a big hit last week. Let's see. Is that Mortimer? Is that the one? Let's see. Think. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, thank you, Mortimer. Mortimer, the Eternal Wise Ass, but I really don't know what I'd do without him. One of the hardest working producers I've ever met. Let's see. That one? Okay. Here we go. Now I think we got the right one. Hell yeah. All right. Oh, that was loud. Okay, hang on, cats and kittens. Time for a little ride through history.
The Pace That Thrills, 1952. Before outlaw bikers, there was speed. This one's all about racing, track bikes, risk, and pushing machines to the limit. No gangs, no chaos, just throttle and nerve. You can feel it though, the beginning of something bigger. Two wheels meant freedom before it meant trouble. What do you think, Grumpy? Was this the calm before the storm? Easy Rider, 1969. Two choppers, open road, and a country that don't understand them. Freedom looks real good until reality catches up. This one ain't just a biker flick, it's a statement. Long roads, quiet, and an ending that sticks with you. Grumpy, is this the real biker spirit, or just a Hollywood version of it? Stone, 1974. This one's raw. Undercover cop steps into outlaw club life, and things get complicated fast. Loyalty means everything, and trust, hard to earn. This ain't polished. Feels closer to the real deal. Grumpy, where's the line between duty and brotherhood? Mad Max, when the world falls apart, the bikers take over. This ain't clubs anymore. It's survival. Loud engines, wild machines. No rules left standing. It's chaos. But you can see the roots. Grumpy, is this fantasy or closer to reality than we think? Chopper chicks in Zombie Town. Yeah, it's wild. Biker gang, desert town, and somehow, zombies. It's loud, weird, and doesn't apologize. But underneath, still about freedom and attitude. Grumpy, does fun belong in biker culture, or should it stay serious? Torque, 2004. Fast, loud, unreal. Street bikes instead of choppers, but same outlaw energy. This one throws realism out the window and goes full throttle. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's just chaos. Grumpy, is this still biker culture or something completely different?
Okay. So how was the sound? It's still pretty quiet, but it's better. Okay. All right. Don't really know what's going on here. Let's check some settings. Audio, all of our outputs. Okay. So it is better. Okay, we did turn up. Let's see what we can do over on this side. All right. All right. You can, yeah, we're going to have to work on that, Mortimer. Help me out here, buddy. All right. So, on the movie reviews, let's see. All right. The Pace That Thrills from 1952. It was a little bit before the. Well, you can hear me. Were you able to hear the movie review? Glassman and Slim, thank you very much for your feedback. If you can let me know if you could hear toward the end of the reviews, I did find a setting to tweak, so I appreciate that. All right, the pace that thrills. All right, back then, yeah, it was calm. A lot of people back from the war. It was coming together and brother and sisterhood, things like that. There was a real need for speed, trying to get some of that thrill back. So let's see. Yeah, it was about man and machine, and this is where the storm starts brewing. It was before. Okay, thank you, Glassman23. I appreciate that. We're going to boost the sound on all of our presentations for next week. We good on that, Mortimer? Okay. Well, at least we still have internet, so. All right, Easy Rider. There's kind of the grand poobah of biker movies. Everybody seems to know it. Great cast, interesting story. And remember, last week we did the Wild Angels, which was a three-year earlier precursor of just what Peter Fonda could bring to the screen. Yeah, good actor, good actor. His sister, I'm going to leave that one alone, but yeah, I like Peter Fonda movies. Anyway, The Message. There was some stuff. The question is that the real biker spirit or just Hollywood? It's a little bit of a combination. Okay. What I'm going to say is the feeling that they're chasing is freedom. That's what they're representing, and that part's real. Oh, very cool, very cool. These are decent movies. We try to find some decent ones. I hope you like them all if you get a chance to watch them. The Message was real. They were chasing freedom. It's a good flick. Let's see. It carries a little bit. It carries a little bit different than it did when it first came out. When it first came out, pretty awe-inspiring. Now, still a good flick though. All right, 70s, 1974, Stone. The question is, where's the line between duty and brotherhood? That one gets blurred. Every associate of mine that had to do the undercover thing and do that whole dual life stuff, it's a tough one, especially once you get kind of interwoven and you become more and more sympathetic to these people that you're undercover with. That's a pretty tough one. Anybody that thinks that's an easy go, no, that's a toughie. Let's see. The line that you're looking for, yeah, it disappears the second you start caring and riding and hanging with these other folks. So that's a tough one. It's a good story, though. You'll like it. Some of the cast isn't real well known, but it is a good flick. Mad Max. Everybody knows Mad Max. Great flick. Looks like fantasy, but really, I don't know, with some of the stuff that's going on in the world right now, I'm not sure about that. It's getting closer and closer to reality. The world runs out of fuel. It seems like when the world runs out of something that they feel that they can't live without, they get kind of nutty. Just saying. Yeah, Mad Max is definitely a great one. Thank you, Joshua. Let's see. The question was fantasy or closer to reality. I'm not sure. I think we're getting closer. At the time, that was fantasy. 1980, 79, 80, I think is when 80. All right. But I don't know. It almost seems like certain parts of the world are getting closer and closer to making that their reality. All right. Let's see. All right. For a movie that will definitely require your favorite brown beverage. Plenty of it. Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. Took me a few tries to try to watch this one. Now, Mortimer, he was the one commenting on these, and Glassman23, I agree with you. With the oil and gas and all that. Yeah, I agree with you. Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. Thank you, Mortimer, for taking one for the team on this one. He does a good job at narrating these things, so much better than I can. The question is, does the fun belong in a biker culture? Now, there's a lot of fun. I know they're talking about goofy fun. I don't know. I think fun belongs everywhere. A little satire, a little parody, a little humor. It just, there's too much anger and too much negativity in the world. Does it belong in a biker culture? Yeah, my opinion. I think it does. This one, I'm not going to say it's a great movie, but if you've got an excess of your favorite brown beverage, maybe a Sunday afternoon, just saying. All right, last but not least, 2004, the movie Torque. I remember when this one came out. Very interesting. Is it really biker culture or is it something else? It's something else. Again, it's an okay flick. Um, let's see. Torque. It's about adrenaline, yeah. Flashes over. I'm looking at my notes over here. Flash over foundation. It's very flashy. I mean, if you like those types of flicks, by all means, check it out. It's got a lot of action. And that's the line. But don't confuse lifestyle with adrenaline. Now, sport bike organizations, clubs, that might be a little bit more what they're about. And I got to tell you, I've hung with a couple of those groups and pretty cool stuff they do with their machines. I gotta say. Remember, your humble handlebar Sherpa here tries to be very open-minded on a lot of this stuff. So anything that gets your knees in a breeze, a snowmobile, a jet ski, a two-wheeler, a three-wheeler, a four-wheeler. Yeah, I guess a quad you can get out past fenders a little bit. But yeah, anything with handlebars is cool stuff. Oh, man, look what Mortimer has for us today. Well, that's cool. You made that this week, Mortimer? Yeah, check this out, cats and kittens. Tell you what, Mortimer is, oh, yeah, we gotta shrink it up a little, Mortimer. Yeah. Remember, we got the 4x3 versus the 16x9. That is pretty cool, though. Let's see. So let's take a look at some of the fans' rides for this week. I saw a couple of cool ones when I was breezing through the collection and trying to answer a couple of questions. Oh, this one's kind of tough, everybody. Well, let's see what we can. Oh, Mortimer, I got to tell you, we got way too many keyboards down here. I know you've got four arms up there, so you can do all this stuff. I cannot. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, what's all that? Mortimer, what's all that stuff about? All right. So, fan ride number one. Let's see. Bare Knuckles Bobber, submitted by Tyler Knuckles Reed. Very cool, out of Wichita, Kansas. I like going to Wichita. I've been there in some inclement weather. That I have yet to see a flying cow. I'm a little disappointed. Okay. You got a 2023 Milwaukee 8 stripped down. Okay. Chopped rear fender. That is cool. I like the smaller diameter front rim. The thing just screams attitude, doesn't it? Let's see. Oh, he built it after dumping his dresser. So he wanted something, apparently he wants something that he can pick back up off the ground. Let me tell you, I feel you on that one. Man, I've had to help pick up a couple of those dressers. They are heavy, man. Let's see. The question is, do bobbers lose too much practicality, or is that a trade-off exactly what makes them worth riding? I like bobbers. Always have, especially when you lean them out and they go on that seat, Queen Creek, that seat is very cool. We're going to have to hit him up on where he got it. I do like the diamond stitch pattern. That is a very nice saddle for sure. So do bobbers lose too much practicality? I'm going to say no, but you have to understand, when you put a bike on a diet, there are several reasons for that. Appearance, budget, you want to customize it, but removing things is a lot cheaper than adding things. Now you're going to replace things, you're going to update, sure. The whole point of having a wind splitter of any kind is to make it your own. So I think that's a cracking looking machine. That is really a nice looking ride. Practicality, it depends. It depends on what you're using it for. You have to remember, don't know if you want to sling some saddlebags over that pretty fender. If you do decide to do the throw over saddlebags, please get some packing tape. Put on there where it's going to rub on your paint. 2 or 3 layers usually does it. You can cut it so it hides under there real nice. But in reality, on something like that, you may want to just use a backpack. Backpacks are pretty cool. They make some pretty styling ones these days. All right, onward to number 2. I know I'm a windbag and we only have an hour, so I apologize. Let's see what we can do. All right, ride number 2, twin cam street bruiser. That thing screams bruiser. Wow. All right, Aaron Pike out of Louisville, Kentucky. 2K8, let's see, big. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're going to put a 2-1 versus the 2-2 that you got on there? Well, that'll give you some launching torque. It'll be better for torque. Mid-range controls. Okay. And again, cats and kittens, we love to see you standing by the machine so we can get an idea of your geometry as well as the bike's geometry. Let's see. Joshua wrote in that I like how compact it looks. It does. Everything is nice and tight in. It is tuned for low end punch. When you put that 2-1, it's going to have that low end punch you're looking for. You're going to be a line launcher for sure. And you're not going to lose. Now, I don't know how big you went with your big bore kit, and I don't know what cam you've got, but with the twin cam, I don't think you're going to be running out of any top end soon. Okay, so the question for Grumpy is, what is the most noticeable bang for the buck performance upgrade on a twin cam? Cams, tune, or exhaust? Well, you're kind of doing all 3, but here's the thing. Louisville, Kentucky is a lot lower in altitude than what we're sitting at up here. So this is a computer bike, which is a beautiful thing. These things create power like there's no tomorrow. Love to know how big you went with your big bore. You got to be careful with the sleeve thicknesses that slide down into your cases. On the Milwaukee 8s, for hotter weather like we have here, they've been running into some issues because it's all bolt-on, which means some of those jugs get paper thin. But you got a nice looking machine. So you've already done the cams. You're about to do the exhaust, from what I understand, and from your original letter. This is what Mortimer puts together for us so we can present it to you all. The most important thing after doing all these is the computer bike. Take it somewhere with an actual dyno. Tell them you want to make sure that they sign off if they blow it up. But definitely get it dyno tuned. You're a lot closer to sea level than I am. The air is a lot denser. So, yeah. Right now, you've done everything else. Get her dyno tuned. That is a great looking machine. Let's see what else we got going on for today. Oh man, here's some nice looking basic stuff. Ride number 3. Dave Tin Man Holloway out of Pittsburgh, PA. Yep. One of my sons used to 10 bar at the stadium there. Yep, it's a nice town. Really nice town out there. So it's a sporty. Kickstart only, okay, yeah, 74. The peanut tank, dig those. Rigid frame conversion, and an Amal carb swap. All good stuff. It's all kind of period correct, so that's looking pretty sharp. The backstory is he's been riding this thing for 15 years. It's broken down in every state he's taken it to, but always gotten home. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. So the question is, are iron heads worth the trouble these days, or are they just nostalgia with a maintenance bill? Depends on how you look at it, Tin Man. I like Sportsters. There's so much you can do with Sportsters. I made dirt bikes out of Sportsters. I made choppers out of Sportsters. I like Sportsters. The main difference in Sporties is they have the unitized transmission. Some people dig, some people don't. That's what helped Harley with their big twin program stay on top, was having the divorce tranny. But, I could have picked a better way to say that, huh? Yeah. Anyhow, the transmission separate from the engine. Ironhead's worth the trouble. Yeah. Yeah, Glassman 23, that is definitely a cool bike. Especially love the brass around that headlight. I love brass on bikes. That is it worth the trouble? That's going to be up to you. Now, without affecting the looks, there are a lot of things that you can do. You can go electronic ignition. You can go ahead and put on a push button start. I know I don't look forward to kicking bikes over anymore. I don't know how old you are or anything like that. You've had it for 15 years, which is awesome. So you know everything about this machine. But you may want to just modernize it a little bit to make it a little more bulletproof. Is it worth it? You've had it for 15 years. It doesn't owe you anything. Throw a few more bucks at it, but modernize it. Make it more reliable. Another thing you could do, if you wanted to, is even do an open belt or even open chain. That's the old Levi shredder. But I don't know. It looks great the way it is. You can modernize it in ways that people looking at it from the outside won't even notice. So, food for thought. All right, number 4. We got a whole hour to get through, and I am running off the mouth like there's no tomorrow. Oh, now we actually have somebody. What is going on here, Mortimer? Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Road Glide Long Hauler. Yeah, I like what you did with that. That is a nice looking machine. Modernized it up. All right, Sandy Highway S. Lopez. Okay, Sandy, I don't know which of the two in the picture is you, but kudos to you. That is a nice looking machine. Definitely built for some miles. Stretched the bags. They are beautiful. Upgraded the suspension. Stage 2 motor setup. Nice. So you got her breathing easy. Audio system. All right. You like to do cross-state runs. So the question for Grumpy is, can a full touring bike still have soul, or do they all end up feeling the same after a while? I'm kind of surprised you would ask for that. It's a 19. Okay, so maybe you've had it for a while. You've definitely done some stuff. You've customized it. You made it your own. I'm going to say no. When you start putting yourself into a machine, if you start feeling like the relationship is, I'm no Dr. Phil, but relationship to machines, I guess I can give that advice. When you start feeling that relationship is, dragging a little, then thinking about something else you can do to it. Even if it's new mirrors, new grips, the heated grips. For me, on some of these machines, I found the grips were also small, so I would put on a bigger set of grips, and it was actually more comfortable for my gorilla hands here. So just little things like that. Just do things to dial up your machine and keep that relationship going. What, Mortimer? No, I'm not the Dr. Phil of two-wheelers. Thanks for the confidence, though. And what would I do without him? Okay. All right, last but not least, Yard Build Rat Tracker. Yeah, I only took a quick glimpse at this. Backyard. Love the road name, Backyard. Very cool. Let's see. Mismatched stuff. That's what it's all about. Back in the day, when you ask about bobbers and stuff like that, and you watch that first movie we spoke about, you're going to see a lot of home built stuff. Looking for make it a flat tracker look. You got some knobby tires that you want to put on. They'll look really good on this machine. I like what he says, that it costs less than most people's exhaust systems. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. You got lucky on that end for sure. And the question for Grumpy is, at what point does a rat bill cross the line from cool to just unsafe junk? That is a great looking question. God Soldier 1129, that is crazy looking. Looks kind of rusty. Yeah, but some people go for that. Queen Creek, I will say, and everybody, some people go for that rusty look. They'll actually take and make sure there's nothing loose on there. Maybe take a little 00 steel wool and just give it a quick scuff, maybe in a good air hose, and then lay some clear over it to hold that patina, in stasis. The seat looks brutal. I hope you're gonna put a little upholstery on that thing. Ooh. I had mates back in the day that would run tractor seats. Ooh. Oh. Anyway, you can make something look really ratty, but be very safe. So, whatever you do, whatever component, any bit that you get, check it for cracks. Make sure it's safe. Be safe. You can have that cool rat look, but yeah, safety is the biggest thing. That is a great question for everybody out there. Whether you're customizing it and you're throwing lots of dollars at it, or you're trying to do it on the cheap like that. I build a few of them on the cheap, but every component I've gone over with magnifying glasses, looking for cracks and welds, everything like that. It looks like you got some good exposed metal there, so it should jump out at you. If you are not sure about some cracks in your welds, you can still buy Zyglo C. That's the non-poisonous Zyglo. You'll need to get a black light, so you can take a little acid brush. It won't hurt you if it gets on you. You just won't want to wash your hands. Brush it onto your welds, and then take your black light and go over it. It'll show up if you've got any cracks or anything like that. Or if you're just not sure, there are places you can take your bits to have the welds checked. So please be safe in all of your builds out there. I love some of the wild builds that came out during the long bike era. The Great Biker Build Off, all these stretch bikes, they were so gorgeous. And I'm sure that all their fabrication, they had to go over with a fine tooth comb too. So no matter what your budget is, the one thing that you can do that may cost you a lot more than money is being safe. Capiche? Okay. Let's see. All right. It did look kind of rusty. Oh, man. Let's see. How are we doing on time? Dang, we're doing pretty good on time. Guess I'm not running off the mouth as much as I thought. Really? Really? Yeah. Hey. Mortimer. Okay. Let's take a look at a few of these. Now that we're talking about safety and builds and things like that, if there's any questions that any of you have for us over here, please hit us up. We're live. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's slow, but it's still, stop it. It's slow, but it's still there. All right. Let's see what we got. What is that, Mortimer? Oh, okay. There you go. You definitely don't want to have a day like this cat is having right here. So that goes directly to my point. Thanks, Mortimer. That was pretty quick. All right. Let's see. Dang. What else you got going here? Okay, you got some. Ooh. Yeah, that's some ugly stuff right there. All right, let's get to the write-ins. All right. So now on these, they write in during the week, and then we post these up. Sometimes people want to print them out. So if you go ahead and click on our link, you can have access to some of this stuff. both in the Handlebar Life, and there's also links to take you over to school. So if there's anything you want to learn about, get really into the weeds, there's some really good stuff on both of those. So SOS for Grumpy. This is number one for the week. Let's see what we got going here. What do we got going here? Okay. My bike dies at idle. It runs just fine at speed. What gives? Jake from Tulsa. Well, that really isn't mysterious, okay? So, when it dies at idle, that means she ain't breathing good. So, most likely causes you got a dirty carb. And especially if you're in where Tulsa, so you get some warm days out there during the winter. Keep in mind there's a winter blend at a lot of your gas stations. Be careful what fuel you're running because on a bike, the orifices and jets and things, a lot smaller. Okay. So you could have a vacuum leak. So number one is dirty carb. Could be a pilot jet that's clogged. Your idle may be set too low. Double check that. I have a feeling it's not that. I think it's dirt. The fuel screw is out of adjustment. So on yours, you didn't put what kind of carb you got. So idle mixture may be a little off. But again, you know what? Go to your favorite online marketplace, get a rebuild kit, go down to your favorite auto parts store, non-chlorinated brake cleaner if you don't have a parts cleaner like an ultrasonic. And in your ultrasonic, you know, if you want to go green, you can't get much greener than mean green. Run some of that, but be careful. If you're going to run 100%, it's really strong. So just be careful. You might want to ratio that down. But mean green in your ultrasonic works really good. Well, let's see. If you have any plated parts or things like that, do not run full 100% concentrate. You won't like the outcome if you leave it in too long. All right, so the best fixes are to pull and clean the carb, especially that pilot jet. There's tiny holes, make for big problems. Let's see. Oh, before you pull it off, fire your bike up. Maybe a little WD-40, or careful with this one. Use a WD-40. Carb cleaner is a little iffy. We used to take and squirt a little on the outside. If the revs change at all, then you definitely have a leak. Reset the idle speed to factory spec and fine tune that fuel air screw. So, yeah, she's begging for air. That's all. So, it's up to you. If you're not confident with doing a rebuild, find somebody that can help you out with that. If not, there's always the option of getting a new one. She can't breathe. So that's the issue we got with that one. It's pretty easy. SOS number 2. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. All right. I hear a knocking sound when accelerating. Should I be worried? Yes, you should. Knocks do not fix themselves. So what could it be when accelerating? Okay, it could be a sloppy primary chain. So you're definitely going to want to look at that, because if you've run out of oil, that means that your chain is acting like a chainsaw and it's gone right through your slack adjuster. So that could be really bad. So you want to look at that. Run higher octane fuel and see if that happens, depending on where this knock is coming from. You didn't really specify top end, lower end. Look at the engine mounts and torque everything down. Now, if you've got a rubber mount, go ahead and replace those with more modern rubber or I think it's neoprene. They give you a little bit more solid mount. And if the knock is deep and rhythmic, that could be bottom end. You could be losing a bearing don't be riding it. First thing, check fluids, and especially the primary. If you did run that dry, chances are, at the very least, you're going to have to pull it apart, clean all the shavings out, plastic shavings, from your slack tensioner. A tick is a warning. A knock is a bill. So good luck with that, Lisa from Reno. Sorry I didn't have better news for you, but a good inspection, all your fluids, and then you can always hit us back and tell us where that knock specifically was coming from. We could help you a little further. Bottom end, bigger money. You're probably losing a bearing. Top end could be timings off. Let's see. Did you list? Nope, didn't list the bike. So could be a few things like that, but definitely get it to a qualified mechanic. All right. Let's see what else we got going here. Mechanical nightmares, batteries. We get this one a lot. So my battery keeps dying even after replacing it. What am I missing? Well, haha. Yep. You didn't fix the problem, you replaced the victim. So typically with these things, we're talking about a bad stator, faulty rectifier or regulator. If that's the case, and I don't know how many batteries, you're from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to tell you something. I was running a little shop, this was years ago, and gosh, about a 20-mile ride, not too bad, about a dead halfway. So in between two towns, nothing but grassland and cliffs. Died. Just okay. About 150 degrees out. When it fails, it's rarely going to fail in a convenient place. So again, you really replace the victim. So it's what's feeding your battery, replenishing your battery. Bad stator, faulty regulator, rectifier. There may be a parasitic draw, so you've got to look at your connections. Mortimer, we got to start asking these people year, make, and model of their bikes. That'll be very helpful. So my explanations, I apologize, are a little bit generic, but your connections, one faulty ground, one faulty corroded connection, and yeah, you'll be the one by the side of the road at 150 degrees in the middle of nowhere with no cell reception. We can't have that. Let's see, best fix. Test your charging system. Somewhere between 13.5, 14.5 is perfect. Check the stator output. Replace the regulator, especially if the voltage is erratic, if you're checking it and it's kind of spiking. And again, like I said, inspect the wiring. Batteries don't just go bad, especially more than one. So it's definitely a charging problem. If you're not sure how to check this stuff out, find somebody, maybe a buddy or something, or coworker that can check it out for you, or if you can get it over to a garage. You can throw parts at it. That's up to you. I don't know what your wallet situation is. Mine's never been great. Probably the cheapest thing is the regulator. Oh, Slim, thank you so much for the kind words. The regulator rectifier is probably the easiest to swap out if this is a two-letter two-wheeler, which I'm suspecting it is. But yeah, please, you can go online and learn how to check this stuff. You might as well learn. Or if you do have a buddy come over and help you, learn. None of this stuff is that hard, but thanks for hitting us up. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate all of you out there. We get a lot of traffic during the week. We get hit up a lot, so it's kind of nice to help people out when we can. Okay, let's see. What are we doing here, Mortimer? What? There we go. All right. Let's see. What is going on here? Okay. My clutch slips when I get on it hard. An easy fix? It could be. Danny from Pahonix, Arizona. It's an easy fix, but don't ignore it. Okay. So, what are some of the the causes? So, Danny's clutch slips when he gets on it. All right. You could have worn clutch plates. Right now, swapping out the clutch is not really difficult. I don't know how mechanically inclined you are. A good learning opportunity right here. Okay. Like I said, if you go online and get your YouTube engineering degree on some of this stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of good education to be had on there. We do stuff on YouTube and on school. So if you go on there and get advice, if you hit up at least three and all three agree pretty much, then there's your way to go. If you get two that agree and one that's off in left field, don't pay attention to that one. Just search for another third one for confirmation because there's a lot of bad advice out there too. So, worn clutch plates, improper clutch cable adjustment, and we just did a cable swap. So, um, cable adjustment is very important. So, I don't have time right now to give you the full lowdown, but you're going to park your butt on the bike. You are going to put it in neutral. You're going to have clutch in, roll it back and forth, clutch out, roll it back and forth. Okay? You're going to see if there's much of a difference. You're going to kick it into gear, clutch in. I don't know what kind of bike you have, so I'm here. I'm okay. But clutch in. Sorry, cats and kittens. And see what kind of resistance when you try to manually roll back and forth. Okay. So that's one good indicator. So change to a proper motorcycle. Well, that's another thing that I don't know. I'm assuming that it's a wet clutch system. So it's in a primary cover. So you want to make sure another easy with the price of oil these days, it's not going to be cheap, but maybe change the primary oil out and make sure she's got the right amount, not too full, not too low, and then replace the clutch plates and springs if you've had them in there a long time. Typically, it's not too bad on the wallet. Take you just a little while if it's a standard 2-liter two-wheeler. But if your RPM climbs and your speed doesn't, yeah, she's slipping pretty good. So you can pretty much bank on changing out some parts. But it also make sure when you change out them parts, you don't have much of a choice with a closed primary because you're going to pull it apart and you're going to drain it. But fresh fluid, proper fluid, there's a lot of good manufacturers out there. I hesitate to recommend some of these, but there's a lot of good fluids manufacturers, and your wind splitter manufacturer in the owner's manual or service manual, or even call down to your local dealership, see what they recommend. You want the right stuff. Okay. That really comes into fruition on brake fluid. So right now you can get DOT or dot, number 3, number 4, number 5. And these three couldn't be farther apart in characteristics. And if you are going to change them, and it's a change, I wouldn't even say it's really an upgrade, it's just a change. If you're going to change them, you have to do everything possible to make sure that the old fluid is gone. Because the worst thing is mixing fluid, and I hate to do it, but I think we have a picture. And I ran across this guy this week. Mixed fluids in your master cylinder. Now, that could be a myriad of different fluids. If you look, I'm trying to use my little cursor. If you look, you got different weight. That's different specific atomic weight of fluids here. This stuff broke down. It had wax characteristics. So whoops. Well, what are we doing here? The different characteristics of fluids, mixing things, no good. All right. Back to, okay. And number 5. Last but not least, bike wobbles at highway speed. Feels sketchy. Where do I start? Denver, Colorado. Okay, you're a neighbor. We got Rick from Denver, Colorado. Start by slowing down before you meet Jesus unexpectedly. Um, oh yeah, God Soldier 1129. We get stuff like that in here. That one, actually, somebody sent us that pic, I believe. Mortimer, is that right? They wanted to know what they could do about it. That one, you got some serious cleaning to do on that master cylinder. That was bad, bad, bad. All right, back to Rick at Denver, Colorado. Bike wobbles at highway speed. There's a reason old bikers get to be old, because you become one with the machine. Now, you may have multiple machines, you may only have one machine. It doesn't matter. Even if you're riding it home from the dealership and just bought it, everything is going to tell you a story on that bike, and you need to listen. You need to listen. You got wobble. We used to call that the death wobble. Okay, especially if it's worse at speed. I'm not joking when I say you may be meeting Jesus a little sooner than expected. So if you get lucky, may just be a bad set of tires. Usually the front, not always. One of my choppers that I had, it was a soft tail. I was trying to remember if it was hard or soft tail. The rear tire actually was out of track just slightly. It gave me the weirdest wear pattern. No real wobble because I didn't let it go that long, but I ended up just it feeling weird. So listen and feel your machine. So make sure you do the simple stuff first, the stuff that costs the least. Listen, cats and kittens. Whenever you're working on any wind splitter or your car or your truck and you're diagnosing things, start with the lowest cost thing first. First thing that'll cost you next to nothing, check your tire pressure. I have a feeling it's going to be more than that. They may be out of balance, so you may want to take it over to a bike shop. Take a look at the tires. Make sure they're okay. My feeling is if you don't see anything obvious on the tires, like wearing or cupping, it's going to be your head bearings. And that's head bearings. All right. Did I write that? Usually I call them neck bearings, but all right. Must have been in a hurry. The head or neck on your machine, where your triple trees bolt onto. All right. See that a lot, whether it's described as chucking or wobble, that death wobble. So usually it's there, but check the lower price stuff. And and getting back to my story from one of the choppers that I built, make sure that rear wheel is tracking dead on. You're gonna have to do a little measurement, or if you've got one of those little laser pointers, but the kind you use for construction, that can be super helpful on making sure that you're lined right up. If you've got a strip of metal, a piece of C-channel, a piece of angle iron, because a lot of those are magnetic, put it on there, butt it up against the tire, and see where you're tracking as far as the linear side of your bike. Glassman 23, you're right. The dreaded death wobble. Bad, bad stuff. Okay. Yeah. And my final comment is a wobble ain't personality. It's a problem. Might be a final problem. Okay. Well, great show so far tonight. We're blitzing through some of the stuff. We're still on track for time. And we're winding down. We won't get to cool tools tonight. Let's see. We're almost at the end of time. Do we have time enough for this, Mortimer? We do real. All right, we got time for one of these. All right. So, yep, we're gonna have to adjust these, Mortimer, for the 4x3. So, on to fan mail. Let's see. Where are you? There you are. All right. Thank you, Mortimer, for separating these guys out for me. So we've got time for one question, unless you guys want more. This is more about what a little more personal or on a personal side. So Sarah in Wisconsin says, "Hey Grumpy Viking, what's your favorite Viking show or movie?" Yikers. Show. Favorite Viking show was the series Vikings. There's been several movies, but the show, let's stick with that one. It was definitely Vikings. The choreography, this reminds me of when I was a little kid, one of the wee people. In case you've never heard Nordic bedtime stories, if you think Grimm Brothers was grisly, that's the G-rated version. Okay? Stuff I could tell you about our version of Santa Claus would make the hair on the back of your knees stand up. Seriously. So, as a wee person, you get to hear a lot about the lore. Ragnar Lothbrok, huge in our lore. A few things that they got wrong that it bugged me, but I love the stories. The stories, I didn't miss an episode, so it didn't bother me that bad. The guy that portrayed Ragnar Lothbrok got an interesting name. I can't remember what it is. Very cool dude, great actor. He's an Aussie. So, Ragnar Lothbrok in the annals of Nordic history, or Viking actually refers to the travel and the adventures, but we'll get into that another time. Yeah, Krampus, God Soldier 1129, Krampus on steroids. Funny thing is, Krampus, I believe, was Austrian born. A lot of Nordic stuff in Germania, which included Austria and so on. But anyway, back to Vikings. Ragnar Lothbrok was portrayed by a guy that was relatively diminutive in stature. He wasn't tiny by any means, but Ragnar Lothbrok was considered very, very large, even amongst other Nordic or Scandinavian peeps at the time. Little side note. Let's see. Ivar the Boneless. Okay. Can't remember why because he would do some things that were so flexible for his size. I think it had something to do with that. But Ivar the Boneless went down in history as one of the top largest individuals ever, and he was not crippled. He was ginormous. They said that when he and his immediate circle would arrive somewhere, sometimes people would just give up, just stop. He was that intimidating. So some of the things they got wrong, but yeah, Vikings, great question. Great question. We should be wrapping up now. We'll get to the rest of these next week. Thank you all for joining me for this wonderful hour that I treasure so much, sharing these things with you. If you think I'm a little long-winded or we should compress some of these things, maybe from 5 to 3, I don't know, Mortimer, let's make sure that we listen to everybody because we got a lot of stuff to fit into an hour. Should we stretch the hour out or should we compress some of these things down? Maybe I shouldn't be such a windbag. I don't know, but let us know. We do this all for you. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy interacting with you. So thank you so much. And remember, what do we got going over here, Mortimer? Oh, okay. So yeah, gotta leave them with a final thought, Mortimer. Let's see, where'd you put those? Oh, they're there. Yeah. I love that Mortimer found this one. If I can find it now, you got to stop giving me so many of these. Mortimer. Oh, dang. Now we're going to do this one for the final thought, Mortimer. That one's just cool. All right. So remember what Bronson would say. Until next week, cats and kittens. Oh, Joshua. Oh, yes. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone so much. Catch us every week, 5 o'clock Denver time. And remember, we have links so you can get deeper into the Handlebar Life on our Facebook channel. There, you can become part of our community on school, but just by clicking on our link for that as well. So until next week, cats and kittens, as Bronson would say, hang in there. Also, always remember, and please never forget, live the adventure. And my final thought I will leave you with tonight was this little bit that Mortimer brought to me this afternoon. So with that, be safe, live life, and love one another.